Next on 10 Tampa Bay, please stay up with us. In just a few more minutes, you will hear the latest on how the storm will impact our area next on Nightside. Now live on 10 Tampa Bay.
We're watching a tropical system forming as it takes aim at the Florida coast. By later this week, we break down the brand new track and timing tonight.
We have team coverage tonight.
Efforts to protect homes soon to be put to the test. I'm live in Pinellas County.
Plus, local cities doing their own preparation to help your neighborhood. I'm live tonight with efforts on stormwater management.
Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
And this is Nightside. I'm Frank Wiley, joined by meteorologist Mike Prangley. Dave has the night off, and right now 7 Tampa Bay area counties under a state of emergency ahead of potential impacts from the tropics. And Mike, want to get right to it because you just got an update on the track of the storm.
We did. The latest from the National Hurricane Center in at 11 p.m. here. We're talking about no-name system, and all along we're thinking the later this thing waits to get its act together, the better for us. So I know there's a lot of apprehension out there, but we're keeping people, calm is the main thing here. And we are preparing you in the best way we possibly can. Let's take a look at the latest from the Hurricane Center here tonight. At 11 o'clock, we officially have a potential tropical cyclone 9. Winds sustained at 35 miles per hour right now. Pressure at 1,002 millibars. So notice what's happening as we watch the latest track come into the north into the southern Gulf of Mexico. That's when we'll start to see Helene develop, a tropical storm Helene, it looks like by tomorrow, especially during the afternoon. And then we'll watch that southern Gulf very carefully because a hurricane likely developing as we head into Wednesday morning. And if there's another change that we saw tonight, not only are we waiting on the name a little longer, but look at this. It's now looking like a Category 2. Okay, there's a big difference between a major hurricane and a Category 2 hurricane making landfall now in the Big Bend and toward Apalachicola, Florida. So again, a little better news, and the trends are friend, and we'll continue monitoring it because the intensity in the track could still change, so keep checking back. And again, that landfall would be late Thursday afternoon, but still winds over 100 miles per hour. This is what it means for us. Let's take a look. Okay, so we've got our big system here in the Caribbean winding up, and the big thing we've watched tonight are those thunderstorms. They haven't been able to wrap around the center. So what that means is it's undergoing a little bit of shear. The atmosphere is not totally primed for this to develop right away. So you can see most of the thunderstorms blown off toward the eastern side of it. Eventually, this will see, we'll see the thunderstorms wrap around it, it looks like, as we head into tomorrow. But for now, watching a little upper level low near Cancun, blowing those thunderstorm tops off to the northeast. Hopefully that upper level low will continue to do its thing there. We take a look at our futurecast though. Latest model data in the new information tonight still though showing those thunderstorms will become better organized, and we will get our name system as we head through the day tomorrow. And notice how the thunderstorms just wrapping around the center there as it makes that move to the north. So we've got a weather impact alert here for us here at home, and it looks like the worst of the weather based on the very new information would come in late Wednesday night, Thursday, and the first part of Friday. We'll break it all down for you coming right up.
Monitoring the changes. Thank you, Mike. And right now, neighbors across the Bay Area preparing ahead of that storm. 10 Tampa Bay's Miguel Octavio live for us in St. Pete Beach. Miguel, people living along the coast say they are indeed concerned.
Well, Frank, some people are back home just barely after being flooded out. Now they worry about the amount of storm surge that could be coming in. I spoke with some doing their best to protect themselves. Now, the governor's emergency order allows for the activation of the Florida National Guard. This also allows state and local governments to carry out their plans more quickly. Neighbors we spoke with say time is essential, especially with the storm just expected to be a few days out. Live in St. Pete Beach, Miguel Octavio, 10 Tampa Bay.
Strength in numbers. Thank you, Miguel. And sandbag locations opening across the Bay Area as our region prepares for the potential storm. And you see it right there. Those are just a few of the sites open tomorrow and Wednesday. You can find a list of all the sandbag locations in the area and their hours on that free 10 Tampa Bay app. And those sandbag sites, just one of the many things the city of St. Pete is doing to get ready for the storm and the record-setting rainfall that we've seen over the past 6 weeks, as you know, has added extra wrinkles to preps this time around. 10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst live for us at Lake McGorry in South St. Pete. And Chris, the city told you they have already started draining that lake.
Yeah, Frank, already a few inches here at the lake, and right now there still is a large pump station working through the night. Now, we have to remember that for much of South St. Pete, stormwater drains here into the lake before going out to Salt Creek and then eventually into the bay. And with an already saturated ground, it will not, and the city is getting ready. Now, last year, the city got tens of millions of dollars for the state to improve the flow out here of Lake Maggiore. It's all part of the city's stormwater master plan. It's the folks who live downstream in the Salt Creek rivershed that hope that all of this work now to move the water out will help them from flooding later this week. Live in St. Petersburg, Chris Hurst, 10 Tampa Bay.
Hope is the operative word there. Thank you, Chris. And we are also tracking potential impacts to local schools. Right now, Hernando County will close schools and district offices Wednesday and Thursday. Before and aftercare programs will also be canceled on those days that we're talking about. This comes as they prepare to serve as storm shelters. All other districts across the Tampa Bay area still operating as normal until further notice. And of course, now is a good time to do this. Download that free 10 Tampa Bay app for your phone and the 10 Tampa Bay Plus app for your streaming device. That is where you can get the latest updates as we track the tropics. Now let's go ahead and get you in the know with 3 local headlines that we're keeping track of tonight. Starting here, a local father being held without bond tonight. This after investigators say he threatened to shoot up his son's elementary school, targeting teachers. All of this starting when this man's son, an elementary school student, got in trouble at school. Investigators say 35-year-old Esteban Del Val was on speakerphone during a meeting with school administrators regarding his son's suspension. Reacting to the meeting, police say he sent a threatening text to his child's mother.
I'm on my I'll be there and be the one to shoot up. No kids, all teachers. Think I'm playing about my son. You and they will hear me.
Well, they took it seriously. Del Val has a criminal history. It includes domestic battery and battery against law enforcement officers. Meantime, in Tampa tonight, police are looking for the person they say shot the driver of a car that was leading to this crash right here before taking off. And you can see the car went through this home. All of this happening near Potter Elementary School this morning. The school was put on lockdown after that shooting that we're talking about. The driver of the car was killed. A woman inside the home at the time of the crash was taken to the hospital. She is expected to be okay. And if you have any information about that shooting or the crash, Tampa police want to hear from you. Meantime, applications are now open for survivors of abuse at the Dozier School for Boys and the Okeechobee School. All of this after lawmakers passed a $20 million package this year. It provides financial compensation for the brutality children and teens endured at the 2 state-run reform schools. Those who attended between 1940 and 1975 are all eligible. That law gives people until the end of the year to apply. We have that information for you on 10tampabay.com. Now's the time to have your emergency kit ready to go, but it is common to see the price of some of those items go up before and, of course, after the storm. So, our Verified team explaining what you can do if you think you're being gouged. Plus, we are staying on top of this right here, the tropics, this as we track potential tropical cyclone 9.
Thank you, Frank. And we're in the Weather Center. We've got the very latest and new information on all the potential impacts in just minutes.
10 Tampa Bay closed captioning is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Keeping you informed, prepared, and connected. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
Well, you know, 10 Tampa Bay is your hurricane headquarters, and with potential impacts from the tropics on the way, now is, of course, the perfect time to make sure your emergency kits are all together. The most important items are food and water. So for food, focus on non-perishables like canned items, granola bars, peanut butter, cereal, and don't forget that can opener. And when it comes to water, you will want 1 gallon per person per day for a week. And you don't need to buy all of it if you have containers at home. You can get water from your faucet, then stow it away before the storm. And it is common before and after the storm to see some businesses increase the prices. That includes gas, goods, and places to stay. So tonight, 10 Investigates Jennifer Touched. Okay, so if you see something you'd like us to verify, do this. Email your questions to us, verify@10tampabay.com, or you can text that number on your screen, 727-577-8522, because we are keeping watch on potential Tropical Cyclone 9. This after a new track was released about 15 minutes ago. And meteorologist Mike Prangley joining us now. Mike, you've been all over this.
Yes, we're watching things closely tonight. We got the very latest, and as we take a look at potential tropical cyclone 9, the latest track as of 11 p.m. really hasn't changed too much, but a couple different things, just subtle differences. Instead of a major hurricane moving by Tampa Bay, looking more like a Category 2, still moving north to north Gulf Coast of Florida toward the Big Bend and Apalachicola. And if anything, as I look at the latest trends tonight, let's take a look at some of these spaghetti models. Okay, make some sense of this. So here's our storm, likely not getting a name. It'll be Helene, it looks like, by tomorrow, and then moves into the southern Gulf on Wednesday as a hurricane. So as we put the latest models into motion, one thing here that we do like here in Tampa Bay, we don't see a direct impact where this thing would take a right hook at this time. Right now, that chance of that happening is very, very small. So that's the first good tidbit. But it does look like a Florida landfall, unfortunately. And of course, we have a lot of parents with students out at FSU. We're watching that carefully. Okay, Florida, of course, in Gainesville, USF right now. But it looks like the biggest impact for any of our local colleges and the Floridian colleges would be for FSU. So just keep that in mind. If you need to pick up your kids, if it comes to that, if this continues with this track, you want to make sure you get them back where they need to be by Wednesday evening. Okay, so keep that in mind. As we take a look at the latest tracks here, let's talk about the meteorology behind this, why there's better confidence that it's not going to take a right turn into us here in Tampa Bay. Well, we've got a big blocking area of high pressure, the same high pressure that brought us a record high of 95 sweltering degrees. Okay, so the heat is our best friend in this pattern. And as I was telling Frank, also watching areas toward Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri. So this big upper level low, it looks like this storm, this tropical cyclone, will take a little dance around that area of low pressure as it goes with the upper level winds. Again, that would keep it from taking that right hook as well. So we'll continue to watch that carefully as we take a look at the impacts. That's what our weather team's all about. We showed you the cone, but focus on the impacts where you see the yellow here and the orange. Notice the storms for all of Florida. Okay, now we're talking about impacts well outside the cone where you see this yellow shading. That's where we could have the power outages, some wind damage, some severe weather. So just keep that in mind as the storm moves up toward areas of Apalachicola and the Big Bend. So for us here at home, okay, we've got a weather impact alert. You need to know Wednesday night through Friday morning. Okay, that's when we just stay put, stay with us, stay tuned. We'll keep you informed, prepared, and connected and calm. The impact, storm surge and flooding, those are the big two for us right now. I still think we will see a storm surge, many areas up over 3 feet. So keep that in mind. We'll fine tune that as we go through the day tomorrow. Damage and wind as well. We need to know your zone. Can't rule out any evacuations at this point, and stay tuned for those updates. So as we take a look at the very latest, when will the winds come? Let's look at the impacts. Okay, so the highest winds coming in Thursday afternoon, it looks like, for most of us. Okay, here's that line just showing us 8 a.m. Thursday to the south, and then I'll move to the north during the day. Also the storm surge. When's the worst of the surge? We'll see how the wind's going to start to really come on shore. Okay, watch the timeline here with me. This is Thursday afternoon. That's when we'll start to pile up the water due to the wind, and we're going to have to watch that very carefully. And it looks like the high tides come in, it looks like very late Thursday night into Friday morning. So the highest surge could likely be Thursday night into early Friday. So we'll keep an eye on that. 7-day forecast. Here we go. We are watching that weather impact alert where you see the red late Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. One more hot day tomorrow. So the good news is to make those storm preps. Tomorrow we've got the calm and the hot before the storm.
All right, thank you, Mike. Want to turn to the gridiron because after getting blown out by the Broncos, Todd Bowles is ready to make a change. We will tell you where and why as the team gets ready for Philly this weekend.
10 Sports is sponsored by Advent Health. 10 Tampa Bay is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Now, sponsored by Advent Health. This is 10 Sports. This storm season, stay informed, prepared, and connected. You can watch live storm coverage even if your power goes out. Download the 10 Tampa Bay app on your phone. 10 Tampa Bay is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Okay, before you head to bed, we have a big reason for you to smile. Tonight, 34 lucky teams were chosen for the upcoming Red Bull Flugtag competition. The selection ceremony was held just hours ago at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Tampa. Each crew is made up of 5 people, 1 pilot, 4 ground crew. All of them will put their engineering skills to the test to create homemade flying crafts.
I think it was 2009 when they first did a Flugtag in Tampa, and I just happened to be downtown, and I'm watching, remember a giant roller skate going off into the water, and I was like, what is this? I want to do it.
Those are the qualifications, gentlemen. The teams will launch their creations off a nearly 30-foot deck at the Tampa Convention Center November 9th. Good times.
I would really advise people to go down there and watch this because the wrecks are so fun to watch when it doesn't work out.
Oh my goodness. Fun indeed. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great evening.
Continue with us and watch free now on the 10 Tampa Bay Plus app everywhere you stream.